Looking at NVIDIA here on the daily time frame, you can see that this market's been moving steadily to the upside. Just a couple months ago, I shouldn't say even that long ago, but it's been on a nice little incline, and we've been moving our way up from past $100 into $160 here. So this thing has been really pushing to the upside quite nicely. Now, there's no reason to assume that price is done with that yet. This is a big red bar, but I think price can power through that big red bar. Now, you'll notice here on the daily time frame that we actually have two zones that are overlapping. There's a zone right here from 54.70 down to 50.24, as well as there is a bar from 52.96 all the way up to 168.50. Okay, so there's actually a overlap of demand zones on top of supply zones. Okay, and this is the only and the freshest supply zone that has been formed during this uptrend here. So this is definitely a pausing period, and I think it's important that we realize this, that price could spend a little bit of time going back and forth here. So I'm looking for price to come back down into this newly formed demand zone right around 152, and then possibly pop back up there into the 168 area. Okay, so I'm looking for price to come back down before it really retests the highs anymore. And I think that if we were able to buy the dips here at like 152, that would be a great area to buy before it retests the new highs that it's made this year. As we're looking at the smaller time frame, you can really see some interesting things going on here. First off, look at the 152. It's 152.63 down to 150.24. That is the zone that I'm looking for price to get back down into. Okay. Now, price has bounced off of this zone right here, and this is, mind you, this is a 60-minute time frame. Therefore, this is more support and resistance type basis. So we could easily see price come down here as we've had multiple retests on this one. This zone is aqua, okay, meaning price hasn't retested this level. So I would like to see price get back down there. Again, do the buying down here and then sell up high. Okay. Now we can also understand why price found resistance where it did as well when we look at the big blue zone right up here. Can see price just barely wicking into the zone and then coming down off of it, and that zone goes from 160.49 all the way up to 168. So really big zone, but you can see how price came into it, wicked into it, and then has failed to go any higher there. Therefore, probably the opposite is true to some degree, and we will be coming back down a little bit, hopefully a nice buying area before we see the pop get topped. Before we see the top get popped. Looking at looking at Intel today, you can see that price is retesting the 43.19 down to the 33.42 area. Looking at Intel today, you can see that price is retesting the 34.19 down to the 33.42 area. This is kind of in a really big range right here, all the way from 33 up to 38. Price has been kind of going back and forth from late last October. Okay, so now we're sitting more so on the extreme of this range here. Might also notice that price was kind of in a range down here as well. going back and forth in between these two levels for a while, and then kind of broke out to the upside. Now it's broken out to the downside. So there's maybe a little range right in here. Now it broke out to the upside, now down to the downside. Now we've got to figure out what's going to happen next. So this level has been retested. Okay, over here we can see the retest back in December. And now we find ourselves here again, or we find price here again. So what's going to happen? And really, this is a decision area that I think we need to consider. And personally speaking, you know, I really don't know, but I know that this is a big decision area to be watching for. And I think that as we are looking at this area, we need to look at the finite price action on the smaller time frames to really give us an indication as to what's going to happen next. So let's go ahead and jump down to the smaller time frames, and we'll go from there. Now, looking at price here on the 60-minute time frame, you can see that we've recoiled up here just a little bit to retest the previous lows that we saw earlier on in the month, or back in history, I should say. You can see that we retested this zone here that we had drawn on the daily time frame, and now we are figuring out whether or not price is really going to stick here or not. It hasn't told us that it is. Price hasn't told us that it's going to stick here yet, so we need to go ahead and wait patiently until price tells us that it is going to stick here. So it looks like we could be moving all the way down into this nice little aqua zone that's just below the blue zone where we got the bounce off of. So I'd be waiting for price to really give us a good defined bottom here. For this coming week, I could see us moving down and then back up, maybe a little bit of a stalling action, as this is a major decision point here, and buyers and sellers have to duke it out. And until they do, I could see price just kind of ranging around here a little bit.